Hey, good morning guys. It's Thursday, May 5th, 2022, and if you've been watching my channel lately, you've got no doubt where I'm at. I am back in Jim Thorpe to ride the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway. A couple days ago, I got my first ride in a diesel, which is really cool. But today's a beautiful sunny day, and I'm going to check off another bucket list item of riding in the dome car. Hey, good morning.
Hi.
Got the dome car today.
All right, up the stairs and to the left.
All right, thank you so much.
Plenty of room.
All right, guys, I timed this well. So far, I'm the only person in this car. And this is one of 3 dome cars that Reading and Northern owns. I believe this is the one they've had the longest. It's called the Lehigh Gorge Explorer. I'm going to go all the way to the front here. And we're going to get a view of the Lehigh Gorge Scenic Railway that we've never seen before. And you can see one of the other domes ahead of us. That was from Iowa Pacific. We got a couple other people now. There's the train station. And I will be riding in one of these cars when I ride behind 2102 in October. I don't know if it'll be one of these two or if it will be the third one that they have, which I haven't seen yet. But anyway, today we're going to take a familiar ride, but we're going to get some different perspectives on it. So all aboard.
With heritage, boasting many Victorian-era buildings that graced Broadway, including the former New Jersey Central to your left, providing you with a glimpse into the past, while also inviting you into the present selection of unique shops, outdoor experiences, and restaurants that work to create a memorable experience for everyone. Now, as we begin our 70-minute journey leaving downtown Jim Thorpe and into Lehigh Gorge State Park, we ask that you sit back, relax, and take in all that the area has to offer.
Okay, there's a trash trailer in the back. If you need it. Restroom is down the steps. If you need it, enjoy the trip.
The bridge we will soon pass under as we travel through the entrance to the rail yard is the Route 903 bridge, which was dedicated to the late Sergeant Andrew J. Baddick, a Jim Thorpe native who lost his life while saving another soldier during a mission in Iraq. Opened to the public in 2016 after replacing the former Route 903 bridge, the current bridge is nearly 1,000 feet long, sits approximately 100 feet above the Lehigh River, and leads visitors to Jim Thorpe Memorial on the other end of town, and beyond that, into the Poconos. Soon to the left of the train, you will see the Jim Thorpe rail yard and our turntable, which is used during our popular steam excursions to turn the steam locomotive to face the opposite direction. right of the train, you will see the popular D&L Trail. This hiking and biking trail, created by the Delaware and Lehigh National Heritage Corridor, runs 165 miles from the city of Wilkes-Barre to Bristol, PA. During the summer months, thousands of visitors can be seen enjoying the trail, which winds gently through Lehigh Gorge State Park near the Lehigh River. Keep your eyes open, though, as a variety of snakes, including rattlesnakes, black snakes, and copperheads, have been known to slither onto the trails as well. Junction we will soon travel through is the Nesquehoning Junction. If we were to follow the left track, we would travel to the towns of Nesquehoning, Tamaqua, and Reading, crossing over the hometown high bridge. The track we will travel on leads us through the Reading and Northern's main line and into the entrance of Lehigh Gorge State Park. Soon to your left will be the abandoned PQ switch tower that was the control site for trains traveling through the junction until April 1972. As we prepare to head into the Lehigh Gorge State Park, you will see a bridge to the left of the train. This bridge, which connects Reading and Northern's Reading and Lehigh divisions, was constructed by the railroad to expedite moves between Reading and Scranton. It officially opened for rail traffic on February the 4th, 2020. The bridge we will now travel on spans the Lehigh River and provides a connection for both rail and pedestrians between Jim Thorpe and Lehigh Gorge State Park. Looking left, you are able to see the new bridge on the Lehigh River, while looking right, you will get a brief view of Jim Thorpe. The next bridge we will pass over is the Coalport Bridge, which crosses the former Lehigh Valley Railroad, once owned by Asa Packard. It passes over the Reading and Northern's Lehigh Branch, as well as the Norfolk Southern Lehigh line. Soon the area to the left of the train would lead you to Glenanoco Falls, a triple waterfall nestled high in the mountain. It is the site of the legend of the beautiful Native American princess Anoko. According to legend, the princess leapt to her death from the upper falls after her father forbid her from marrying her true love. To this day, historians and storytellers cannot prove just how much of the story is true, but legend says that the princess still haunts the falls, and the spirit of the mist will appear on bright sunny mornings over the water below. We have a clear signal ahead and we're good to go up into the Lehigh Gorge. As we cross the Lehigh River for a second time, the site to your right at the hard bend of the river will be the location of the former Hotel Juanita. Built in 1886, this four-story luxury hotel was one of the highlights in the area, boasting 47 elegant rooms, as well as dining areas, tennis courts, and an 84-foot bar. Guests to the hotel were able to take in the sights along the Lehigh River and Orinoco, while also enjoying horse and carriage rides. In its heyday, the hotel boasted year-round tenants, as well as notable guests. But in 1911, a fast-moving brush fire destroyed the hotel, and the land was left to be reclaimed by Mother Nature. The pass we are traveling through is known as the Rock Cut, and it is the southern gateway of Lehigh Gorge State Park.
Postcard.
That is a beautiful Victorian structure.
Watch for deer.
It'd be neat if they could rebuild that. They probably never will, but
roaming through the gorge.
it's really nice.
Various
Thanks.
types of hawks, vultures, and even the occasional bald eagle gliding high above us. The lush forest, sheltered in the valley of the mountains, is the perfect habitat for Pennsylvania's wildlife, both big and small. To your right, along the next several miles, you may get a glimpse of portions of what was the Lehigh Canal, and may see rafters gliding down the Lehigh River. You may also notice some of our state flower, the mountain laurel, as well as a thriving variety of oaks, maples, poplars, and birch trees. This wide spot along the line, Hetchel, is one of the few places where the tracks of the Lehigh Valley and New Jersey Central Railroad stand side by side at the same grade. The former New Jersey Central roadbed is now the biking trail you see to your right and runs over 20 miles to Whitehaven. The name Hetchel comes from Hetchel's Tooth, the rock outcropping on the mountain high above the train. Lehigh River on the right side of the train is a popular adventure for thousands of visitors a year. The river flows 109 miles into the Delaware River and is known for its numerous Class 2 and Class 3 rapids. During the warm summer months, it is not unusual to see dozens of rafters and kayakers enjoying the trips down the Lehigh. The name Lehigh comes from the Lenape phrase, where there are forks. Besides rafting and kayaking, the river is also a popular fishing location with a variety of species, including trout, smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, carp, and catfish. In 1818, the Pennsylvania General Assembly gave away the rights to the Lehigh River. It was owned by the Lehigh Coal and Navigation Company and used for transporting coal through the region. This was the only example in United States history where the state did not own water rights to a river. In 1965, a bill was passed rescinding LCNN ownership. We are entering one of the sharpest curves on the line. Oxbow Curve, named by boaters of the Lehigh Canal for its resemblance to a yoke that oxen used to pull wagons, forms almost a half circle. About halfway through the curve, we will pass underneath what looks like a footbridge. It was actually an oil pipeline suspended above the track and Lehigh River, running approximately 450 feet. It was one of the original oil pipelines in the country and ran between Oil City, Pennsylvania and Linden, New Jersey, but now carries fiber optic cables. Going under the pipeline now. On the far side of the trail, in the trees near the river, you may be able to see some of the remains of a former canal lock. This portion of the Lehigh Canal was named the Upper Grand Section and totaled 20 dams and 29 locks. It was destroyed by a flood in the 1860s and was replaced by railroads. As we continue on our trip to Old Penn Haven, you may notice numerous mile markers. These markers, like milepost 124 that we will pass soon, indicates the miles away from Penn Station in New York City. of the train, you will also see the area where Bear Creek empties into the Lehigh River. Bear Creek is a favorite for those who enjoy fishing for Pennsylvania's state fish, the brook trout. Lehigh Gorge State Park has a rich history of natural beauty and has been through much growth over the last 2 centuries. The 6,107-acre park stretches from the Francis E. Walter Dam in Luzerne County to Jim Thorpe and is characterized by the state as a deep, steep-walled gorge carved by a river. Thick vegetation, rock outcroppings, and waterfalls. 20 miles of the D&L Trail traverse the gentle sloping pathway into Jim Thorpe. Besides hiking, biking, rafting, and fishing, Lehigh Gorge also offers outdoorsmen a number of hunting opportunities and photographers with hundreds of locations to capture the magnificence no matter the season. During the spring months, the gorge comes alive with plant life, and visitors can enjoy the beautiful state flower, the mountain laurel, as it blooms along the trails and rail lines, as well as a number of other native trees and shrubs beginning to blossom. Soon to the left of the train as we near our destination, you will see a very small waterfall coming from the mountain. Don't blink or you will miss it. This small stream runs from the depths of the forest and travels directly underneath the tracks to empty into the Lehigh River. Waterfall will be coming up shortly to the left of the train.
Okay, in about 4 seconds you see the waterfall, then
we did say it was small. We have reached our destination. Old Penn Haven, also known as Penn Haven Junction, is one of the most desolate spots along the rails. Located about 7 miles north of Jim Thorpe and 5 miles east of Weatherly. The wide area that we are passing through was once an important location on the canal system, and later the railroad. At one time, this junction was the intersection for the canal and 5 rail lines, including the Beaver Meadow and Hazleton Incline Plains. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, a small railroading community thrived in this area and was only accessible by foot, boat, or rail. Once the train comes to a complete stop, passengers seated in standard coach may get out of your seat and either push or pull the middle of the seat back to change its position for the return trip to Jim Thorpe. If you need assistance, one of our car hosts will be more than happy to assist you. Switch over to the track up to the left of the train on the mountainside and come down along the train and couple up to the other end of the train to pull us back to Jim Thorpe.
If you want to come up in the fall, 2 tips. Either do it during the week,
Right.
because parking is crazy on the weekends. Either come up during the week or take the train from Reading,
Okay.
and then you don't have to worry about parking and you get a wonderful 5-hour train ride
Yeah.
as a bonus. For me, it's mostly about the trains, but the
Give us
rest...
the waterfall. It's coming up shortly.
The big waterfall?
The big one.
The big one.
Actually, there's 3 little ones about like this on the other side of the pipeline.
Okay.
And they aren't always floating. Depends on the mountain.
You can see more from this car. Like, I see a lot of things that I couldn't see from the open air cars.
I think it's
Yes, sir. Thank you.
okay. All right, there's 3 rock properties. Here's the first one, second, and the waterfall will be right next to the last one, right here.
railroad was this car from originally?
Milwaukee Road.
So that was the Hiawatha?
Could be.
Good.
Probably.
Oh, no worries. Go ahead. I bought one of these in N scale. I need to paint it to match. I gotta figure out where to get the decals for the lettering. Gonna be some really tiny N scale, yeah. I've done N scale my whole life.
We have an actual caboose on this train. We do have a caboose, but it's a former wreck.
You can take a ride in the caboose. I did that last year. Yep.
How much different was it than riding it?
Oh, I loved it. I was out on the back balcony almost the whole trip.
Yeah, that's a great
First-person view. Loved it.
Yeah, great view. For
I could stand there probably for the rest of my life and be content. Well, Saturday I'm just going to chase it around with this thing and film it. And then Sunday I'm going for a ride. It's about the same length ride as this one. They go from Cumberland, Maryland out to Frostburg. And then you've got the big CSX rail yard out there. Watch that to your heart's content too. Be my first time out there. My friend's been there before, the one I'm going with.
they got this.
I would too. I'd love to take one of the Amtrak trips. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. That's a great part of the country to ride through.
We will hit the road.
How far down?
Put the gate.
If there's water, no, but we have it on there. Six of this.
Oh, I do the open cars all the time. They're great. That's usually my default ride.
camera on the initial curve.
There's the sign. Closed off the hiking trail.
Yes.
Heard it was pretty dangerous.
Yeah, it looks dangerous. Just look it up there. And they've taken a lot of people down off the mountain that have fallen.
Ooh.
Some didn't make it, some did.
Yeah, I'm not much of a climber, so I'll view it from here.
Speed approximately right now. Oh, not more than 10 miles an hour.
Okay, so I have a bad habit of forgetting to record outros, so I'm narrating this and dubbing this over at the time I'm editing the video. Now, this ride was a little over a month ago, but I think my memory of it is still pretty fresh, and I just wanted to go over, what I thought of my first ride in the Dome car. So there's pros and cons like every car in the fleet. The best thing about this Dome car absolutely is the great view. You can see pretty much in any direction around you. Wherever you choose to look, there's something to see. Because the train goes through a gorge, you have the ability to look up at the mountains more than you do from the other cars, so I think you get a better appreciation of the depth of the gorge. And you get a better view of the river. The entire ride parallels the Lehigh River, but in many cases you really can't see it from the regular cars. I was able to see it very well from the Dome car, and I also got a better sense of the rapids in the river. Now, that said, I did take this ride in early spring where all the leaves were not on the trees yet, so you got a little bit more visibility from that too, but it's still better than riding in the other cars. This car also rides very quiet and smooth. On the return trip, the clanking that you heard was not the Dome car, it was the regular coach car that was attached to it. That car was very bouncy and loud for some reason. But overall, it was a smooth and quiet ride. Now, there was not a lot of people on the train this day. If you get a full car, obviously, you're going to get more noise. But what I really enjoyed is I could hear the narrator very, very clearly. In fact, I've ridden this railroad probably a dozen times, and I actually picked up facts that I've missed before. I usually ride the open-air cars, and, well, they're kind of loud because you got the wind noise, you got the people noise, the train noise. So this Dome car is very smooth and quiet. The seats are very comfortable. This is considered a first-class car, and it rides like one. The seats have a very soft velour material, and they're very well cushioned. They're very comfortable. Now, I recommend riding on the upper deck like I did, but if for some reason you wanted a little peace and quiet and privacy, you could go downstairs to one of those seats around the tables. I bet you on most trains nobody's using them. So there are some downsides to the Dome car. The first is that the seats don't change direction. So you're facing forward on the outbound trip, but you're going to be riding backwards if you stay in your seat on the return trip. I've been on trains forever. That doesn't bother me. Heck, half the time you could see I don't even stay in my seat anyway, so it doesn't matter. But some people are bothered by that, and if that bothers you, then the Dome car probably isn't for you. You also feel the banking on some of the tight turns. It's a very subtle bank to the rails at places like Oxbow Curve and after you come through the rock cut. But because you're higher up in the car, you do notice that side-to-side movement a bit. Again, it doesn't bother me at all. Some people may not like it. If you're really into photography, I'm sure if you watch the video this far, you'll know that there is some reflection and distortion on the windows. Particularly on a sunny day, you're not going to be able to do anything about that. To me, those are all minor issues. The worst one is just that you can't get any fresh outside air. The day I rode this, I believe it was around 70 degrees. It was a very nice spring day, but it was admittedly a little warm inside the Dome. It is air conditioned. If you have a seat directly under a vent, which I did not, you can feel the air. It's pretty cool. If you're out a little further from a vent, it seems like it's going to get pretty warm. Now, you probably saw they had those two pedestal fans, one at each end of the car. They did not have them plugged in and running, but that pretty much tells me what I suspected, that you get into the heat of the summer and it's going to get pretty hot in there. For me, that is an issue. Some people might not be bothered by it. So I just wanted you to be aware of those things because you are going to pay a premium to ride in the Dome car. As of May 5th, 2022, when I took my ride, it was $35 to ride in the Dome car versus just $17 in a standard coach, or $20 for the open air car or the Crown Class car. That said, I really enjoyed my ride in the Dome car. I'm looking forward to riding it again when I'm behind 2102 in October, and hopefully this video has given you an idea whether you might want to go for a ride in the Dome car too. So I'll wrap this up with just a quick walk I did through the lower deck as I was getting off the train. I was curious what was down there, and I thought you'd like to see it too. Just taking a look at the seats downstairs. This is actually like sunken in between the wheels. So not a lot of seats down there, narrow corridors. The upper deck's where you want to be though.